Friday, 4th of September 2015. You are listening to the paper headlines on AthavanEnglish.com, read by Fatima Sharika. First, let's look at the paper headlines on Daily Mirror. Sambandhan proposes 3 to 5 regions. Newly appointed opposition leader pledges to support all positive endeavours of government. Newly appointed opposition leader R. Sambandhan, in his address to Parliament, said Sri Lanka should have 3 to 5 regions with maximum power devolved to them, taking a good example from India as the giant neighbour to resolve the Tamil national question. Another headline from Daily Mirror. Some UPFA MPs want leader of the opposition replaced. A group of UPFA MPs said yesterday that they would seek a reversal of the decision by Speaker Karu Jayasuriya to appoint TNA Group leader R. Sambandhan as the leader of the opposition. UPFA MPs Dinesh Gunawardana, Wimal Weerawangsa, Vasudeva Nanekara and Uday Gammanpila said at a media briefing that the Speaker had allowed them to state their case to him, which is aimed at naming the person who commands the support of a majority of the opposition members. Another headline from Daily Mirror. JVP MP Maya Dunna resigns. JVP Nationalist MP S. Maya Dunna, who resigned from Parliament yesterday, said he did so as he believed the people had not given a mandate for persons like him to represent them. Another headline from Daily Mirror. Court allows Tiran to leave country. The Colombo Fort Magistrate yesterday permitted former MP Tiran Ellis to leave the country for 1 month. His passport had been impounded by court in connection with an alleged fraud that had taken place at the Reconstruction and Development Agency in 2006. Another headline from Daily Mirror. Chief Opposition Whip Anura's name proposed. JVP leader Anura Kumara Disanayaka's name has been proposed for the post of Chief Opposition Whip in Parliament. Mr. Disanayaka was elected to Parliament from the Colombo district. He has received this post under the new arrangement of the 8th Parliament. Tamil National Alliance leader R. Sambandhan is the opposition leader. More headlines from Daily Mirror. Tajuddin's autopsy. Ex-JMO writes to magistrate. Ex-Colombo JMO Professor Ananda Samarasekara alleged that the present JMO had intimidated and pressurized doctors who conducted the first autopsy on the body of Ragarid Mohammad Wasim Tajuddin. Another headline from Daily Mirror. Statements recorded from Gotabaya, Duminda and 7 others. Former Defence Secretary Gotabaya Rajapaksa, former MP Duminda Silva and 7 others were yesterday summoned before the Presidential Commission of Inquiry to investigate and inquire into serious act of fraud, corruption and abuse of power, state resources and privileges over several allegations. Another headline from Daily Mirror. Mattala Paddy Storage. JVP raises issue in House. In the aftermath of the decision to use the Mattala International Airport for paddy storage, the JVP yesterday queried in Parliament whether the government carried out a study to determine its economic viability. More headlines from Daily Mirror. More than 1 lakh letters in toilet pit. A large number of letters including airmail, ordinary letters, postcards and propaganda material of politicians who contested the recent general election were recovered from an abandoned toilet pit in the Moratua post office last morning. Another headline from Daily Mirror. Will hand over KP if India requests John. Former Minister John Amaratunga said the government will compel to hand over former Chief International Arms Procurer for the LTTE Kumaran Padmanathan if India wanted him in connection with the killing of former Indian Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi. And to conclude the headlines from Daily Mirror, Parliament news follows. Parliament passes bigger cabinet. Will include 48 cabinet ministers and 45 non-cabinet ministers. Parliament yesterday approved the formation of a national government with 48 cabinet ministers and 45 non-cabinet ministers by a majority of 143 votes to 16. 63 members were absent at the time of voting. Now let's move on to the paper headlines on Ceylon today. National government 143 for, 16 against and 63 absent. You can read the full story on page A2. Another headline from Ceylon today. Cabinet swearing in today. Ministers, deputy ministers and state ministers will be sworn in today at the Presidential Secretariat before President Maithripala Sirisena. The cabinet will be appointed and the relevant ministers will be sworn in at 12 noon today. The others will be sworn in at 3 p.m. The swearing in is being done in 2 sessions because it would take up to as long as 5 hours to conduct the ceremony in one stretch. Another headline from Ceylon today. Sambandhan is opposition leader. The country witnessed for the second time in 38 years a parliamentarian representing the largest ethnic minority becoming the opposition leader in parliament when Speaker Karajai Surya announced in the House yesterday that TNA MP R. Sambandhan would be the leader of the opposition in the new parliament. He said Sambandhan had been accepted as the leader of the opposition since the UPFA had informed him in writing that it had no intention of seeking that position for any of its members. NFF leader Vimal Weeramangsa, raising a point of order, said, "We have in a letter signed by 56 members requested leader of the UPFA to appoint MP Kumar Welgama as the leader of the opposition and MP Mahindananda Alutgamage as the chief opposition whip." Another headline from Ceylon today. Opposition leader. Majority want Welgama. Vasu. Democratic Left Front leader Vasudevan Anayakara, speaking to Ceylon today, said that a letter proposing the appointment of UPFA MP Kumar Welgama as the leader of the opposition with the signatures of 57 MPs appended thereto was handed over to Speaker Karajai Surya yesterday afternoon. Another headline from Ceylon today. Anura Kumara, chief opposition whip. Leader of the Janata Vimukti Peramuna, Anura Kumara Dissanayake, was appointed the chief opposition whip of 8th Parliament yesterday. His appointment follows the appointment of ITAK Parliamentary Group leader R. Sambandhan to the office of the opposition leader. It was speculated that the TNA, which had the prerogative of appointing the chief opposition whip, had come up with the idea of appointing Dissanayake to that office. JVP propaganda secretary Vijitha Herath confirmed Dissanayaka's appointment. TNA parliamentarian M.A. Sumandran said the party, along with the opposition parliamentary group, decided to hand the office of chief opposition whip to the leader of the other remaining party in the opposition since the UPFA is part of the national government. More headlines from Ceylon today. Sambandhan moves demarcating regions with empowered chief ministers. Newly appointed opposition leader R. Sambandhan asked Parliament yesterday whether there was any logical reason as to why the country couldn't be demarcated as several regions with empowered chief ministers instead of having a mega cabinet at the centre, as he believes that there are eligible elected representatives to take on such responsibilities. More headlines from Ceylon today. Anoma is the flow. UNP nationalist MP Anoma Gamage, who was occupying a back row seat in Parliament yesterday, tripped and hit the floor hard as she rose to look for a different seat while the debate on a resolution moved by Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe seeking the approval of the House to increase the number of ministers of new government was in progress. And that's on Ceylon today, and the news headlines from Daily News Up. Sambandhan, leader of the opposition, vows to stand by Sri Lanka at all times, to work closely with other parties in the opposition, wants acceptable solution to the Tamil question. Speaker Karajai Surya announced to the House yesterday that the TNA parliamentary group leader and Trincomalee district MP R. Sambandhan has been appointed as the opposition leader of the 8th Parliament. He said that MP Sambandhan has been accepted as the leader of opposition as the UPFA had informed him in writing that it had no intention of seeking that post for their members. TNA leader R. Sambandhan, making his first address to Parliament as the opposition leader, said he expresses his gratitude to the House for selecting him as the opposition leader. "I also wish to thank all the people of the North and East who kept their faith in us at the general elections and the party for appointing me as the party's parliamentary group leader. We will support the government for its all good deeds that are done for the betterment of people and oppose it only when necessary. We will work closely with the other parties in the opposition to ensure that we together are an effective opposition whenever it's required. It's necessary to find an answer to the long-lasting Tamil question, and we would like to work closely with everyone in this regard," the leader of the opposition said. Vidyaratna summoned before FCID. Samantha Vidyaratna was summoned yesterday to the Financial Crimes Investigations Division, Kollupitiya, to give a statement on a complaint he lodged against former UWA Provincial Minister and former SLFP Mahiyangana organizer Anura Vidanagamage. More headlines from Daily News. Voters have endorsed corruption. Mayadunna. Former Auditor General and JVP Nationalist MP Sarath Chandra Mayadunna yesterday resigned from his parliamentary seat after making a special statement in Parliament. He observed that the trend of parliamentary election results indicated that people have no desire to receive the services of intellectuals like him to fight corruption. Another headline from Daily News. Coca-Cola to settle oil leakage loss with Water Board. According to National Water Supply and Drainage Board estimates, the damage caused to the board by the recent oil leakage to the Kalani River is over 170 million rupees. The Coca-Cola company has already expressed its willingness to pay the full damage after holding further discussions with the National Water Supply and Drainage Board, sources said. Another headline from Daily News. Paddy storage at Mattala, an act of revenge against the Rajapaksas. Namal, condemning the government's decision to allow using the Mattala Mahinda Rajapaksa International Airport's storage facilities to store paddy. Namal Rajapaksa MP yesterday said that this was done an act of revenge against the Rajapaksas. In a statement issued yesterday, Namal Rajapaksa MP said the Mattala Airport was one of the most successful development initiatives launched by the previous government. More headlines from Daily News. Gota Duminder grilled for over 3 hours. Former Defence Secretary Gotabaya Rajapaksa, former UPF MP Duminder Silva and 2 others were questioned by the Presidential Commission of Inquiry into serious acts of fraud, corruption and abuse of powers, state resources and privileges yesterday. Rajapaksa has been requested to appear before the commission today as well. According to sources, they had been questioned for over 3 hours yesterday. Another headline from Daily News. Parliament nod for proposal to increase ministers. The determination under the constitution presented by Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe to determine the number of cabinet and non-cabinet portfolios of the National Unity Government was passed in Parliament yesterday with a majority of 127 votes. It received 143 votes in favour, whereas 60 members voted against it. JVP MP Anurakumara Dissanayaka asked for a division at the end of the full-day debate on the determination, and the division was asked by Leader of the House Lakshman Kiriyella. 63 members were absent at the time of voting. Another headline from Daily News. First genuine national government in Lanka's history, Mangala. September 3rd, 2015 will be remembered as a red-letter day in Sri Lanka's political history. For the first time since independence, a national government has been formed with parliamentary approval. Sri Lanka's 2 main political parties can now work together to address the many unsolved challenges facing our country, said Foreign Minister Mangala Samaravira in a statement. The statement adds, the recognition of R. Sambandhan as the leader of the opposition has also made this a red-letter day, heralding a new era of unity, consensus and reconciliation. And to conclude, the Mattala Airport news follows. Only storage buildings at Mattala used. PM. Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe told Parliament yesterday that only storage buildings of the Mattala Mahinda Rajapaksa International Airport would be used for paddy storing and not the areas meant for aircraft operations. Prime Minister Wickremesinghe said so while responding to a series of questions by JVP leader Anurakumara Dissanayaka on the crisis situation that had cropped up with the yala harvest since farmers are unable to obtain a decent price for their paddy. That concludes the news headlines from today's newspapers. Thank you for listening to the news headlines. Came to you from AthavanEnglish.com. Have a pleasant day.